Are you sharing the screen?
Yes, yes.
I can't see it.
Yes, yes. Okay, okay. Share, 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 share.
Yep.
This is Harish. But
Okay, this
here,
is the one. Okay, cool.
here no connection.
Okay, so there is a problem with your server. Go to server. The host not available. Yeah, it's not available. It's telling you here. So you just downloaded MySQL Workbench. You didn't download or you didn't install your server MySQL server. There is a
Servers command line and
mm-hmm.
is
Can you connect
MySQL server.
to command line client? Can you connect to command line client?
See
No, you can't. So there is an issue with the. Okay, search for this admin jobs.
here only.
Yes, please search for admin jobs. Yeah, Windows administrative tools. Go there. Windows administrative tools. Go there. Uh, search for JDBC. Just a minute. Services. Search for services. I can't find any services here. Too small. Can you find some services by name services anywhere? Yeah, the first one. Services, not the component services. Okay, search for MySQL. No, just type M. It should take you. Click on something and type M.
No, no,
So it's not there.
nothing.
Which means your MySQL is not running as a service. There is a reason you are not able to see it in your MySQL workbench. It is supposed to be running as a service, or at least you need to start it whenever you want to use it, like a exe file. I'm not sure where you downloaded. Can you show me where the downloads? Where you downloaded?
This
Okay. Installer package, workbench community. So have you installed both or just only one?
I installed both,
Okay, but I
but
can't see
it's
that.
complete.
Okay, can you please double click on that MySQL-550? Yeah, please. Preparing. Okay, next. Okay, let's change. Remove. Just remove it and we'll install again. Uh,
Remove.
remove because I can't see that as a service. It is supposed to be a Windows service. Supposed to add as a Windows service.
What is the password here? Admin username and password.
Ah, admin. Admin rights. It's a problem.
Actually, I take the help from IT team when I downloaded and try to install it. So they are not allow me to install anything. So I create a ticket and take
Do
the IT
something
help.
like this, you need admin rights. Yeah,
Yes.
I understand that.
Again, I need to create ticket.
Ah, forget about it. Today I'll show you how to work with in-memory database.
Okay.
Yeah, don't worry. I'll show you
Okay.
how to work with in-memory database, and it'll be part of Spring Boot file. Forget about it. It's okay. If you guys are having so
Okay.
much issues, it's okay.
Okay.
But the problem is
But
the database. There are some drawbacks with it. I'll tell you. maybe when
Okay.
everybody joins.
Okay.
Yeah.
But when I need to fix it, I need to take the help from IT team, right? For allowing this admin user,
Uh,
right?
I'm not sure, Ramlal, how your organization works, but basically, uh, for me, I'll be getting admin rights everywhere, so I don't have to contact uh, IT team.
Team, anyone have any suggestion what I need to do if I want
Yeah,
to
you have
fix
to
it?
ask your team. I'm not sure.
You have to uninstall it and again raise a ticket and talk with Sai once.
Okay. Okay.
So while
Thank you.
installing, Ramlal, while installing, there is one checkbox which you need to check. It will ask for you to add it as a Windows service. Okay, so
Okay.
read carefully and add it as a Windows service. So if it is being added as a Windows service, you should be able to see in the settings file settings which I just took you, that Windows admin tools, and then in the services
Okay.
you should be able to see that as a Windows service.
Okay.
So basically it
Okay.
means you are giving permissions to your Windows to load this, to start this service, MySQL as a service, whenever you are starting your Windows. So you need to add to that. It will be easier. Otherwise, there will be a .exe file. Whenever you want, you need to double click that .exe file and run that MySQL. So that will be
Okay.
difficult.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Thank you, Harish. Thanks,
Yeah, no
team.
problem. Anyway, today I'll show you how to work with in-memory database. That will be easier if you guys are working on Spring Boot. If you guys are having so much of issues with your setup and everything.
Saying finish.
Yeah, maybe finish it. We'll start again. Just double click on it again. Okay, next. Wait. Let's repair. Let's repair. Do not remove. Let's repair. Okay, repair. Is it still asking for admin rights?
No.
Okay. Okay.
Finish. Saying finish.
MySQL server. Okay. Finish. Search in Windows. Search for MySQL. Press Windows button and search for MySQL. MySQL. Not Workbench. Is there anything else as a service device? MySQL. Not Workbench. Workbench is just a UI to connect to a service server. There should be a server backend running. Uh, Run as
I
administrator.
feel.
Right click and run as administrator. I guess you don't have permissions to run as administrator. It's showing run as administrator. Go to more, more, run as administrator.
Admin. Username. Password. Not saying. He's saying continue. Enter the admin username and password.
Then you have to raise a request, uninstall and install again.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
No problem. Okay. Okay, let's start today's session, guys. But before going to start, do you guys have any questions in the previous session which we discussed? Anyway, as promised, I'll be showing you how to work with the test cases again anyway. But before going in there, how you guys imported the project which I gave you yesterday as part of day 8 folder? Because if you have, I already fixed that after our session and immediately uploaded that. That's why I was asking. So if you guys imported, well and good. Else, please try to import and check the code. Right, sharing the screen. Okay, guys. So before going to start, as usual, again, I want you you guys to tell me what we discussed yesterday and what you guys understood, and if there is any questions, please ask me.
Yesterday we have discussed about unit testing.
Just a minute, Akshay. Satya was asking something. Yes, Satya, what is the question? UTF without adding this, I can be able to connect to DB. Okay, that is probably the way you set up with your DB UTF character encoding. That might be the problem. You have to change your settings. Right, let's see. A quick revision. After that, we'll jump into our usual stuff. Okay, guys. So, first things first, we discussed about unit testing. And what is unit testing?
Basically, unit testing means the process of testing our individual components of our application. We can say with both positive and negative scenarios
Yeah,
to get
first
the expected results.
usual components for any errors or exceptions. Okay. So, what are
We
the
have
frameworks which
used
we used?
JUnit for unit testing, and for mocking purpose we have used Mockito.
Unit and Mockito. Perfect. Right. So, what is Mockito? Mockito.
Basically, Mockito is a mocking framework, which is suppose you can say it is providing it make our code as independent means if you have controller and service, basically our controller is dependent on service. Until our service component is ready, we cannot mock our controller.
If there is a
So
dependency,
it provide a substitute object, we can say,
like if there
for
is a
real object.
dependency, we can eliminate that by using Mockito. Mockito. Right. So, some of the annotations which we saw in yesterday's testing.
In JUnit we have used
Somebody
address
else, please.
test annotation. It
Not
make
Akshay,
our
please.
large sorry.
Not you, Akshay. I want somebody else to speak.
Okay.
Okay, as usual, if you want, I can start just for testing, making it as a testable component. Right. What else we saw? Guys, anybody? We went into Spring as well, right?
Run with one.
I'm sorry. What is that?
Run with one.
Run with.
We are passing inside simple class.
You can pass any class here. Really,
Spring
run with.
runner
So that depends on what kind of runner you are choosing. If you are working on Spring,
is
choose Spring
yes
Runner.
runner dot
You are working
class.
on only just a JUnit and Mockito, you'll basically, if it is only JUnit, you don't have to choose any runner. Your JUnit will by default take it. Else, if you are stubbing and if you are using Mockito only, Mockito and JUnit, not Spring, so you'll be using with. We didn't see that, but I'll tell you today because I never got a chance to explain about this yesterday. So that will be Mockito runner, Mockito JUnit runner.
Okay.
Dot class basically again. So it means you are indicating the class that you will be running using this Mockito JUnit runner, right? And we saw Spring
Uh,
test.
Auto configure when we use
We saw Spring test,
auto configure
right? I mean like
test.
Spring Boot test. Yes, we saw the red auto configure MVC, mock MVC.
Mock
Perfect.
MVC.
Anything else, guys? All right.
At that
Well,
mock we have used.
I'm sorry. What is that?
At that mock.
Yep. At the rate mock we have used. Perfect. Right. Ah, crap. Mock. Right. What else, guys?
One
So,
of the important method we have used in Javnet asset equals, which is compare our expected result with actual
so
result.
I can say for assertions, for comparing, we use assertions. For comparing, we used assertions. Okay. Right. What else? Okay. So how about oh, forgot. Just give me a minute, guys. How about JPA?
Discuss about ORM tools first of all.
DIS. See you discussed about what is ORM, right? What are the different tools available? I mean frameworks.
Mhm.
So can somebody please tell me at least a framework which is a ORM framework?
Hibernate.
Hibernate.
Hibernate,
Perfect.
I bet is
I bet is perfect. Yeah. Anything else? We discussed about any other components, any other use cases. So we discussed about JPA, right? What is JPA? I told. So with a simple diagram. So how it is being used in Spring. So I told it is just a top layer, a top extraction layer on top of Hibernate, basically on top of ORM technologies. We will be using the same annotations. We will be using the same logic, same kind of logic, but we will be getting the repositories. So repositories is an implementation of a repository design pattern, right? But I got a chance, very less chance to speak about repositories. Anyway, we'll be dealing with the repositories today again. So that's okay. No, anything else? Some of the annotations which we use in JPA. I saw.
Upgrade in
Yep. Go ahead.
at the
upgrade
rate
in
entity.
Perfect. At the rate entity. Why do we need it?
Just to map the Java class with the database tables.
So to specify this as an entity which will be used for mapping. Right. Perfect. What else we saw?
At the rate table, if we want to mention the table name,
Perfect. To mention the table name. Perfect. Again,
at the
guys,
rate ID.
table name is different from our entity name. Then we will be using this. Okay.
Yes, yes.
I'm repeating
Yeah.
that. Yes. What
At
else?
the rate ID.
At the rate ID. What is the use of this?
Basically, it is telling the JPA or ISE to that it is a primary key.
Perfect. Primary key. PRIMI. Pardon my spellings, guys. Primary key. Right. What else we saw?
At the rate generated value,
Perfect.
we right now we didn't use, but it is there. You
Generate
explained.
value. Perfect. Right now we didn't use
Then
it.
at the rate column, yes.
No. In here, I spoke about like different
Yeah, it is a strategy. Yeah,
strategy.
what kind of a strategy we are going to use?
So yeah. So basically, you
Like
can auto
identity.
generate. You can use sequences, right? These are the things which we spoke. Auto generate or identity.
Yes,
Perfect. Right. Next.
at the rate table.
No. At the rate table
Oh,
has
sorry, at the rate column.
perfect. At the rate COLUMN. Yes. So if our column name is different from our the variable name which we are using, then we will be using this column name, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Anything else which we discussed? I
Okay,
believe
that's it.
I told about the repositories as well. I mean, like we will be implementing the JPA repository, and I discussed how to pass our class information and our primary key information to repository. If you guys didn't remember, I'll
Yes.
about that later. Sure, cool. So we discussed a lot. That's good. Productive one. Oh, crap. Okay, let's not waste our time and let's quickly go into our today's session. Right. So yesterday I was struggling with our testing, right? So we had an issue, right? The problem is I explained about I explained about integration testing to you guys. Unfortunately, I have been using the integration testing annotations, so that's why we couldn't get it. Um, that's my bad. So unfortunately, I have been using the integration testing annotations. So this is basically for complete end-to-end tests. So that means you're not going to mock any of the objects. So you will be using the real objects with the real data. That means you can ask me. So are we going to connect to database? That depends again on your testing, how you are going to do that. Okay. Sometimes you will connect. Sometimes you can use that as a data.sql files, and we will be doing the test. But for this scope, okay, we'll be using web MVC test. That is for independent component testing, basically for testing the independent components. So that's why I asked to you guys, have you guys imported the project which I shared with you? Because if you guys have imported, you might not be facing any issues. You can do a clean install and you can work on that. So all the changes which I did is just commented out that and imported this. And since I will not get any JDBC object out of web MVC because it is not it doesn't have any auto configuration, it doesn't load my application context by default. So I have to inject everything. So that's why I'm going with this way. So I'm creating a mock bean of JDBC, and that's all. It will take care of everything, injection and everything. And I'll be using REST testing everything as it is. I didn't change anything. So let me run this for our better understanding. Run as generate test case. And if you guys are confused, I'll be showing you one more, because yesterday I remember Shirisha or Bindu, somebody is asking about JDBC mocking. I'll be showing you how to do the JDBC mocking as well right now. It won't take much time, maybe 10 minutes. So we got the data. Now let's see the JNet test case. So this time it passed, but let's explore in the console. Okay, so it came to truck license, right? And we are calling a get method. So we are not sending any body in a get method. So our handler is this one. The method name is our handler. It is going to get truck by license and username. And based on the information what we are doing, we are returning everything. So the status code is 200, perfect. There is no error message, perfect. And the content type headers, we set it as application.json, whatever we expected. So that's why our test case is passing, right? There are multiple test cases which is executed at the same time. You can see that the count here. So we executed 2 test cases. That's because I clicked on the class name and executed it. I clicked on the class name and I executed it. If you want to execute only one, right on click here, run as a JUnit test case. Just like that. If you remove, there will be a problem. If you remove JDBC marking, there will be a problem. I'll show you guys what kind of problem you'll face if you remove the JDBC implementation. Okay, for now, again, showing you test cases are working fine. Let's remove this. That means I'm not injecting my JDBC. Right, let's see how it behaves. So there will be an exception saying that our context cannot be loaded because JDBC template cannot be found. There is an internal exception again. Let me run this. Okay, now if you see this, illegal state exception, fail to load application context. Let's explore this in console, it'll be easier for us. Right, all the way to the up. So there is an issue with loading our context. And if you go all the way down, it will tell you unsatisfied dependency exception. Error creating bean with truck fleet controller. That is what we are going to do. Unsatisfied bean dependency truck fleet service. In our truck fleet service, there is a dependency again with truck DAO. In the truck DAO, we have a JDBC template defined. If you remember properly, that is a flow which we are following, right? So that's why it is expecting at least one bean of this qualified bean. I mean, like qualified type, like JDBC, but we do not have any kind of JDBC beans. So for this purpose, you have to mark them as well. Okay, because you have to mark and you have to give to IOC. So we're going to do that mark bean here, and we will be giving to IOC. Now we will not face any kind of errors. So any questions, guys? Anyway, but here I am marking it, that's all. I'm making sure that my JDBC is available in my container. That's all. I'm not doing any operation. My flow is not going beyond my service. That we already saw, right? That we already saw because I showed you. Let me show you again for better understanding. I'm doing this again. So our search API test will come to search truck. That is part of our API search service. Oh, sorry. Right over here, search truck. That is our search and truck and license name. So is it the same URL? No. Let's say I'm taking this one, right? So it will be the same URL right over here, truck license number, and I printed here. And let's see implementation. I'll just for understanding again. I'm just showing you how mock works. So I'll be printing a statement here. Inside the API service. So let's test this. If you observe the console properly, there will be marking information provided as well. Okay. So I'm getting the truck license, but it is not going to the service. If you see that after that, it start printing. After that, it is telling the mark HTTP servlet only, right? So any questions on that, guys? Any questions, any concerns? Cool. I hope you guys understood this. And let's quickly see a simple test cases again to mark JDBC template and return the response which I'm expecting. For that, I'm not creating any of the new package, just it is simply class. But if you follow the appropriate naming conventions, you have to create the class. So let's name it truck DAO IMPL tests. DAO IMPL tests. Right. Finish. Here I may need mock, so I'm not sure whether I imported mocking or not. I'm just verifying the dependency, guys. So I have mock, so no issues. I can use mock here. Okay, so first what I have to specify, I need to mock. So what am I going to mock? First, JDBC template. JDBC template, because in our DAO we'll be using JDBC template to query our database, right? So I'm going to mark JDBC template. JDBC template, right? And now I am going to declare private. Sorry. Truck DAO IMPL. It's not test. Truck DAO IMPL. Truck DAO. Because remember our first session, guys. I'm going to test some methods present in this truck DAO IMPL. It is not like a controller which I can test our MVC, right? So it is just an independent component, and I need to create an object for this particular class to test it because I have to call the methods of that class. Right. New truck DAO IMPL and accepting as a constructor argument. and you need to inject that because I marked it, right? So I need to use inject method, sorry, inject annotation, because I need to inject the marked objects. So that's why I'm going to use this inject marks. Everything part of arc.marketo, guys. I'm not using any other third-party framework apart from Marketo, right? Oh, what is it taking time? Sorry about that. Okay, now my injection is done. Now here is the thing. After injection, what you have to do is you have to tell your joiner test case that initialize all the marks. So how can I do that? So there is a concept called @before. Okay, so which means before starting your test cases, if there is any code which needs to be loaded, okay, you can put that code in there, something like this. Private, sorry, it should be public because it should be accessible by JUnit. Public void, we can name anything, but basically setup will be good name, because we are going to set up the environment for our testing, whatever is required. So all I will do is, let's import this. It's arc.junit, not from aspect j. I'm not going to use any of the aspect j's here. It's just from junit again. So what I'll do is I'll just initialize the Marketo annotations dot init Marketo and current object. That's all. So that means I'm initializing all the required Marketos. Now let's write a quickly simple test. But before going there, let's pick our test properly. Okay, so right over here, I'll be writing test case for this method. So which means if I pass a valid username and password, it has to return true, else it has to return false. Okay, for that purpose, I'll be raising a test case. All my test cases are public, guys, because it should be accessible by JUnit. Otherwise, you cannot run the test case. So my test case is not going to return anything. So validate login test. So let's see how we can validate this. For that, I need a SQL object params. So whatever we need here, whatever the input we are providing here, right? So let's see. String SQL equal to whatever the SQL I'm exactly using here, because I will be validating against the same string SQL string and same object params. So I'll be using the same here. Okay, instead of username, I'll be hard coding here Rish and Harish. Now everything is good. Now I need to tell my Marketo to mark this behavior. So whenever you encounter such kind of username and password, please respond with one. That means you found something in the database with this valid username and password. So how can I do that? For that, again, Marketo dot when, if you remember properly, I'm using when. That means when you encounter this kind of expression, this kind of method. So my JDBC template, whatever the marked object dot. So if you see properly here, they are doing a query for object, right? We need to mark exactly same method, not anything else. Query for object, right? So it accepts three kind of parameters. First SQL, second is my params. Yes, it is exact definition of the method, guys. I'm not writing anything new here again. And that's supposed to be parameters, and we need integer dot class, because I'm expecting int as my number, sorry, int as my response, right? Integer dot class. So when you encounter this kind of parameters, then you have to return an integer. That is in our case just one. That means it is a valid test case which we are testing. Now let's call this dot validate. So I'll be passing the username and password. Guys, you should not hard code. You need to take it as a final variables. It's not a good practice to hard code. So how can we do that? Like this, or maybe you can use a constant class and you can take it from there. Yes. So you need to use like this. These are the best way. Just for information, I just typed one. I'm not going to type everything there. Like that. Now it will be returning me a Boolean value. I'm still staying in that. Now it's our time to write our assertions. ASSCRT assert true. So whatever the Boolean value, that means I'm expecting that my method has to return true because I am marking saying that, hey, if you get this kind of a username and password, send that one. That means it is available in our database, and that's all. But here again, guys, I am using marks here, so I need to tell my JUnit to run with Markito class, that runner. So how can I use that? Run with Markito and a Markito JUnit runner. Where is my Markito JUnit runner? Markito JUnit runner dot class. That's all. Now you are good to run your test case. Here we are not dependent on the control layer, I mean the controller layer, and we are not depending on the database layer, right? We will be testing our database layer without depending on database. That means we are marking JDBC and returning whatever we expect from the normal database. You can even send a list, you can even send anything, whatever you want, guys. That again based on your criteria. Now let's quickly execute this. JUnit 5, I need to change that. Run configurations. Okay. So if you see the Boolean variable is true, that means right over here, system.out.println. So that is true we are printing. But does that mean that my test case passed? Let's have a quickly look at it. See this? The test case passed. If you want to write a negative scenario, let's say, basically you have to write in, guys, you cannot write multiple scenarios in a single test, okay? Because you don't know what kind of test it is failing. So for that purpose, you need to create multiple scenarios. Login negative test, right? That means, let's say, my username, I'm passing it as null. There's no username for me, right? At the point of time, if I'm not passing any username, my database will respond with, I can't find a username with that name, like null. So that is my scenario, 0. At this point of time, I should assert to false. That means I'm expecting my validate login method should not validate the authenticate this username and password. So for that, I'm going to use false, and that's my, okay, assert false, like that. And let's quickly see how we can run it. Default settings. False, as expected. So now you know how to do the marking, right? And you guys have any questions in this marking? I know I went too fast because I already discussed about this marking yesterday. So I am going to implement the same concept. So I thought like you guys know. So if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to explain again.
Harish, it's fine. But I have one question, like how can you, if you have some private types of method, then how can you mock that?
Yeah, there is a concept called reflection. So you can use the reflection concept to mark them.
Can you show one demo that, so one example?
Okay. Do you have any private methods here? I don't have any. There is no need to create one. I need to find one. Okay, let's find one. Private. Do you have private? Private. Oh, there is no private. There is no private methods. Okay, then let's quickly see what I can do here. So can't find appropriate method here. Anyway, I'll discuss about this. Let me think what I can do for private. Okay, I'll discuss this at the end.
Okay, Harish, okay, thank you,
I'll
thank you.
discuss at the end for sure. But let's. You have any questions on anything here, guys? Okay, no questions. Let's move to our JPA. So where is our JPA? So over here, if you remember properly, yesterday we created our JPA project. I'll quickly go through what all I did, just for our reference again. So we created our JPA project. Again, it's based out of services. So for that purpose, I'll be using web. Basically, it comes with support for REST services and WebMVC as well. And we are connecting with database, and we are also using JPA. So for that purpose, I'll be importing this dependency here. And we are connecting with MySQL. So we'll be using MySQL connector. And this is as usual for tests, right? For tests, I may have to include JUnit test cases, but when we come there, I'll try to include JUnit test cases as well. I'm sorry, guys. So, and after that, I just copy pasted the exact same. I can do in the same project, but we already have enough stuff in the same project. So I copy pasted everything into a new project, and so we have this search API as of now. So we are taking a search. We are taking a truck license, and we are trying to respond. For that, I implemented some of the beans. Basically, we call it as um, entities, right? We call it as entities. So I define this entity name because my entity name is different from my table name, because my truck table name is truck underscore details. So, and we marked the columns, and for unique ID, I didn't generate it because truck license cannot be generated. It needs to be taken from the user. So we are doing this way, right? And everything else, I configure all the other columns, right? I just generated a toString method and a constructor, a parameterized constructor. That's all. Now, what else I did? I went to our repositories. I created a repository. So by using this, so I specified it will be extending JPA repository. That means we will be having all the default functions, all the default functionality which is provided by JPA repository, right? Now, what are the default functions provided by JPA repository? First, JPA repository in turn extends pagination repository. Okay, we will speak about pagination later, but it also extends, okay, curd repository. That means whatever the insert, update, delete, search operations which we are doing, that will come by default for our repository here. And the syntax is, I need to specify what kind of repository, what kind of object it is dealing with, persistent objects. That is basically the entity name, and what is the primary key in the table in the entity. For that purpose, I specified this, and I'm not coming this here for now. Okay, we'll talk about this later, right? And search API, I implemented one method trying to get something based on the license ID, and the implementation is in the service. The implementation in the service, right? Find by ID. But do I have find by ID method available in my repository, or is there any implementation which I did? No, basically I don't have to do any kind of implementation here. Why is that? Because I already specified it is a one more wrapper on our ORM, so it will give us the default functionalities to do interaction with our database. Basically they handle the code for us. All we have to do is provide instructions. So let's have a quick look at the instruction what we are providing here right now. Okay, to our repository, I'm telling find by, that means where condition, ID. So that means find by ID, find by my primary key. In our case, primary key, if you observe properly, this is our primary key right over here. This is our primary key. So indirectly we are specifying our JPA to look in our truck details table for a particular truck license, right? Truck license, that's over here. If you guys want, again, I'm going to write the query. I know some guys who are experienced, but still for the other persons who never worked on ORM. So this is something similar to start from truck underscore details where truck underscore license equal to question mark. So this is exactly similar to this one. So again, how my repository will find out the table name? I'm going back to repository again. You specified that here, the entity name. If you specify the entity name, by default, it will pick up the table name, right? Next, how do my repository know what function we are writing and what is a search case? Right here you're telling find means search, by means where condition, and what is the ID, what is a column. After by there will be a column, so there is a column, ID is a column. So by default there is no ID, so basically ID is a primary key and it look up the primary key table, sorry, primary key in the table, and that is truck license, right? Any questions on that, guys? So no questions, we are good to execute our first flow. Okay, right. Basically we may not see any of the beans right now. I'll tell you guys why. I just wanted to show you guys why we are not able to see anything. That's why I'm running it. Okay, so there are no errors, our MVN clean install was successful, everything is good. Now let's run it. Okay, running it. Right, URL is not specified and no embedded data sources could be configured. Reason, fail to determine a suitable driver class. We did everything perfectly fine, guys, but did we specify where it has to look from? What kind of database are we dealing with? We didn't specify, right? If you look at our application.properties, we didn't specify anything. Let's quickly copy paste that from our truck maintenance. So I don't need this JSP. Now we are not dealing with our JSP, so I'm not going to take that. So I'll be quickly taking the specific port, right? I don't want the truck maintenance also for now. In case if required, we can take that back again. Now again, the same configurations which we have been dealing with for a while right now. Here again, we cannot, our application may start, but we cannot see any of the JPA repositories being initiated. That's, I'll tell you why, but we'll have a quick look at the logs to verify. Okay, bootstrapping Spring Data JPA repositories in default mode. Finishing. So found 0 JPA repositories. Even though we created one repository, the repository name is struct details repository. We created one repository, but our Spring Boot not able to find that. Why? Why is that? Why is it happening? Right. Let's quickly have a look at our uh, where is our this one? Okay, right over here, our application, JPA truck application. Guys, did I mention any component scan? So I did not mention our component scan. By default, it will scan from the place where it has been instantiated. That means from com.truck.jpa truck. If your class files comes under this, let's say com.truck.jpa truck.beans, then it could have picked up .api, then it could have picked up. Here we are one step below. That means we are at the same level of JPA truck. So our Spring Boot doesn't know how to pick up, right? For that purpose, component scan. Base packages equal to like this. So mine is com. So look up for all the beans, all the annotations present under com. That's all. So it will be a folder structure behind the scenes, and it will be searching in all the folders. Now, will it be enough? Is there anything which I need to do? Of course, we need to do something. That is, we need to tell our, by default, guys, again, I'm telling it is, even though it is auto configured, we are enabling it by using Spring Boot, but we never told to read JPS, right? To read JPS, to look for JPS in our application. So how can I do that? Simple, enable JPA repositories. Right. Now I need to tell from where it has to pick up. Base packages equal to. So you can give com, but I'll be giving the absolute path here. com.truck.repositories. repo sitores. Right. If you have multiple repositories in different locations, you can give multiple by using comma separated values here. This is an array. Okay. Base package is an array. And it's the same case with component scan as well. It is an array. It will take multiple packages. Right. Is it enough? No. We have entities as well. Right. We need to tell our boot to load the entities as well. So entity scan. Again, we need to provide the package name where we have our entities. Base packages equal to where do we have our entities. com dot truck dot beans. Okay. Now we specified everything. Will this be enough? Let's check it out. Okay. If I include developer tools, guys, I don't have to rebuild every time again, but I will speak about that in some time. So Shahan was asking about that port. This is regarding that developer tools, which I couldn't tell on that day because we didn't cover this accurator concept, or we didn't cover this JPS, or we didn't cover anything. So that's why I was not in a position to tell you guys at the time. Okay, now let's see. Injection point has the following annotations: auto-wired, com.truck repositories or truck repository that could not be found. Okay, cool. We missed something. What is that?
I think at that repository we have to mention. Yeah.
We forgot to give this repository annotation, repo sito or repository annotation. Perfect. Now it should be picked up. Still, truck repository that could not be found. Injection has the following annotations. I guess I'm writing my repository spelling wrong in the component scan. Okay. REPOSI. Leave it. So I'll be giving calm. I don't want to take beans and everything. Let it be calm. And let's have a quick look at our service where we auto wired. So truck details repository. Perfect. Everything is good. Let's see. If it complains again, that means we are not our Spring Boot is not able to scan and get this repository up and running. Okay, it is taking time. Okay, if you see now properly, forget about the exception. Anyway, we'll fix that. Found one JPA repositories here, right? That means our Spring Boot is able to pick up the repositories, right? Okay, so there is Hibernate exception. So we are missing some of the dependencies. It's basically regarding the Hibernate ORM. So it is specifying that I can't find a local date not present uh, in our dependencies. So quickly, I'll add some of the dependencies again. Okay. I'll be adding our dependencies pom.xml. Okay, replacing this. Just some of the dependencies, guys, which we need for our creator and everything else. Okay. Are we using any Hibernate here by any chance? Local date verification. I'm assuming we are not using any of the local dates. Crap, H2 I also included. Okay, again. Okay, entity manager define type not found, 13 BP local, date not present. I'm not sure why it is coming up. Let's have a quick look at our entity files. Are we using any of these local dates here? No. Unused. I removed everything. Why is it picking the? Okay. Do I have a date here? I don't have any date. Okay, let's quickly get that and get the dependency. Is it type not present? I need this configuration. So that's my dependency.
I think,
Yes,
Haris, I think we have to auto add that repository in service.
I did that. So this is other way of doing it.
Okay.
Where is it?
Okay, sorry. Then.
Just a minute, please. Remove unused imports. Where is my repository service? So here, either way you can do this way, or you can directly specify this auto wire here. So this is a concept of auto configuration, guys. What we are doing here, I wanted to show you guys how it works. That's why I'm showing you this way. Okay, so it should work. Let me quickly remove our temp files. Maybe this might be the issue with temps. Percentage temp percentage. Okay, there's some issue with our temps. So there are so many tomcats. Control A, Shift delete. Are you sure? Yes. Okay, it's taking time. Stuck now. My Eclipse. Okay, sorry guys, my computer is hanged. Okay, it's came up now. Well and good. So hopefully it might have deleted all the dependencies, or else I need to include some other dependency. Maybe I need to refresh the project, delete and install again. Okay. Default class path arc.spring framework type not found, because I never use the Hibernate classes anywhere. ORM JPA Hibernate classes configuration class. So I don't know what I'm doing here. Project clean JPA truck. Okay. Refresh. I'll simply delete this and add it again, but I need to save all the changes whichever I did. Just I'm removing it from the workspace and I'm loading it again, guys. File, import existing Maven, browse, desktop, Spring Boot training, our projects. So JPA truck, okay, finish. Okay, where is our JPA truck? Right over here. Cool. Refresh.
Harish, some red color mark is there in the pond.xml.
There was a red color mark. Okay, what was that?
Yeah.
That's okay. That's because of my Eclipse. I didn't set up Eclipse properly.
Oh.
That's because of Eclipse. It's okay. No, crap. Okay, let's see what we are missing. Spring Boot release.jar. Okay, Error creating with bin entity manager, define in class, path, type not found. So let's see this. What is the dependency? This is very kind of exceptions. Okay, let's simply first let me build it. MVN install. There is some issue with my malware, guys. There is nothing related to this dependency because I added all the dependencies, so it's just playing with me. Come on, load. How much time? Somewhere mine it is working. It's loading org dot hibernate dot. Oops, oops. Bean creation error. Entity manager typecast not found. Hibernate configuration dot class. Okay, I have to delete my M2 folder and I have to reinstall again. So it will take some time for me, guys. Let's take a quick break and we'll be joining in 15 minutes. Okay, I don't want to waste your time and we can continue after that. I'm sorry about that, guys. It's just a problem with M2. I need to delete and reinstall again. Hi guys, welcome back. If you guys are at your desks, we can start working. So are you guys at your desks? Can we continue? Okay, sure guys, I will continue. Thank you. I'm sorry about that. All I had to do is delete the project, re uh, re take it into our workspace and clean install. That worked. That's all. So if you see, I just ran the project. It's running. So it's in the 899 project. Sorry, 899 port, and we will be using here. So this is what this is a method which we created. So if you search for that method, and you can find this appropriate response for that appropriate method. So any questions, guys? All I just did this, deleted the project, retook it, recreated it, and that's all. It's working fine. So any questions? Okay, now let's quickly see how we can get based on different names. For example, let me go to this one. For example, if I want to get based on one of our column names, for example, let me take this column name. Okay, how can I retrieve based on win number, right? Let's see that. Again, optional, because I'm using optional. We may have or we may not have that kind of truck in our database with that with the appropriate win number, right? Whatever the win number we are providing. So find by win number. Okay, let me paste that. String win number. And that's all. So I don't have to do anything. Let's go to our search API. So here it is based on truck license. Let's activate this. Let's change this from truck to VIN number. So I'll be getting that VIN number here as a path variable. Forget about these headers for now. We don't need headers. Guys, since we already discussed about all these things, that's why I'm going a little bit fast. If you guys think I'm going too fast, please let me know. Okay. Get truck license. Sorry, get truck by VIN number. So I'm going to create a method, so which will take a VIN number as my input, and it is going to return me a truck details in case if it is available. Again, it is going to return only one truck, guys, not multiple trucks. So it's just a truck details. So I had to change everything. So this is the one appropriate. So we'll be using the same here. All I'm doing is refactoring the work, guys. I'm not changing the entire code or anything. So I'm trying to get a response entity instead of earlier we were just returning our own a list of elements. So I don't want to do that right now. So I'll be going with the response entity for our better understanding whether if there is any exception or we have any data in it, right? Okay, now I need to quickly implement truck by VIN number, right? For that purpose, I'll be using, which I already just did that, dot find by VIN number. So I'll be passing the VIN number, and that's all. I'm not going to write any kind of query again. So for your information, I'm specifying my JPA to find, okay, a truck by VIN number. So it's like a where condition on VIN number. Okay, now let's quickly see if it is reloaded. Yeah, it's reloaded, completed in 10 seconds. I guess we need to reload that again. That's okay, we intercepted something. I'll be reloading it again. Okay, now it started again. So let's have a quick look at our URL and let's do that search. So okay, let's have a quick look at our URL. Where is our URL in the search API? So it will be search/truck and VIN number. So let's go to here, search/truck. Okay, this is VIN number, VIN number. So let me search for some gibberish which is not available. Okay, so there is error. Let's fix that error. Truck license not present. Okay, so there is a problem, I guess, with the implementation. Truck and truck, both are trucks, so not going to work. So it is going here by default. So that's not going to work. Let's change it quickly. Our API. Okay. Can somebody name one API, guys? Maybe truck. Truck by VIN, probably. Truck by VIN. Is it loading? Yes, it is loading. Let's have a quick look at truck by VIN. Oh, okay. My bad. Truck by VIN. Okay. So not found. 404. So it's not able to go to truck by VIN. What is wrong with this right now? Okay. Am I missing any of the URI, guys? By any chance, has anybody observed anything like search I'm using? So search
It is the path variable, I think. So we don't need to specify like that, I think, right?
Oh yes, that's a good catch. That's a
Yeah.
good catch. Thank you. I'm all out today, guys. Sorry about that. That's a good catch. So we need to pass this like that. Thank you. Yeah. So not found. So let's search for some of the variables which is available in our database. So let's say I'm searching based on this particular name, particular number. Okay, I'll be doing that right over here. So we can find that. Okay, guys, any questions on that? Thank you, Shahan. Thank you for that. So any questions on this?
Welcome, sir.
So any questions on this? What we are doing, how we are doing? Because I guess I went too fast because we already discussed it. That's why. Okay, let's quickly do another one. So this time, okay, where is our repository? So I want to search based on multiple columns. How can I do that? Is it possible without writing a query? Right? Is it possible, because we have been doing without writing any queries? Is it possible to do such based on multiple columns? Let's see.
Yes.
Optional. OPTIONAL optional. Truck details. So find by, let's say I want to find by my VIN number, and let's say I want to find by truck license again, or maybe if you want you can go model, but I'm going with the truck license. It's up to you guys based on what column you are doing, what column you are trying to find. LICNSC license. Okay, here let's make it more complicated. Is it possible for me to order? But here I'm getting only one truck, right? So I don't want ordering. But is it possible for me to do ordering? Yes, you can do that. How can I do that? Just like this. Order by. And what is the parameter you are trying to order based on? Truck license. LICNC. I need to write the spellings proper. Perfect. So I need to pass two parameters here. String, right? String, let's say VIN number. String, what else? License, truck license. Let's name these things. Truck LICNC license. Okay, so that's all. Now I don't know how to do anything here again for the persons who never worked on JPA. So we are giving two hints here. First, search based on VIN number and use uncondition. Search based on license. After that, once you search everything, order the crap, it will move that side, my bad. Order the result set based on the truck license, and we are passing two inputs here, VIN number and truck license. So this is how you're going to do it. So if you want, we can do a quick search here. So I'll be modifying the same exact available thing, truck. So I'll be accepting two parameters. Okay, two parameters. Truck license, VIN number. VIN number. So I don't have headers. Okay, I'll be modifying this. Get truck by VIN number and license, LICNSC. Okay, so I'll be passing my VIN number and truck license here. VIN number comma truck license. Right, let's implement this method in our service. So I'll be returning truck details dot find by VIN number and truck details, and that's all. Good to go. Is it loading? Yes, it is loading. Cool. Now let's quickly see what is our parameters here in our API. It's a truck license and VIN number. Okay. So I need to pass truck question mark truck license and VIN number like that. And that's all, guys. If you see that, we're getting one record. So any questions, guys? Any questions, any concerns? Or am I going too fast? Do I need to reduce my pace?
It doesn't matter what column name we are following. Like I mean, we are using VIN number, right?
Yeah, we are
So
in number.
it doesn't matter like how we are naming it, right? Small v or capital V,
No,
or
basically
we can follow
it
anything,
should be in the
or
camel
it will be based on the camel case, or it will be based on the bean names,
bin name.
bean column.
Exactly. Right over here, if you follow the bin name, it's good. Or else you have to go with the camel case.
Okay.
Where is our truck repository? Camel case. Right.
And one more question,
Please.
Harish, I have been using like this only.
Okay,
So
cool.
that is why I asked you one time, like who will be writing these queries?
Oh, who will be writing these queries? Let me.
Yes, because I have worked like this only.
No problem.
Yeah.
I will show you who will be writing the query. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
I
I told
mean,
you already.
this way we can do everything. Why we need anyone who writes the queries for us?
Right. Now let me print the query first, but I'll tell you what is the need for queries again. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Sure.
Let's see how the how the query works internally. I mean, like how our JPA going to translate this into a query. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
So for
Sure.
that purpose, our Spring Boot has capacity. So basically, all you have to do is specify, hey, Spring Boot,
Yes.
I need to see my SQL queries. Okay, because I'm not writing any queries. Somebody else is doing that for me. So I need to see my queries, how it is getting populated, how they are querying. Okay, right. Let's see. Uh, let me go to console. I hope it logged. Yes. Now let's see that. Okay, that's all. A simple refresh. We'll go and check in the logs. Right. This is my query. You see that there is order by statement as well. ASC. So basically, again, guys, um, under the hood, we'll be using the ORM, object relational mapping, but there is a wrapper on top of ORM. So the wrapper will be providing, the wrapper will be calling the entity manager with the appropriate query, right? Based on the information what you provide. So the wrapper will do, there is a repository pattern method. So that will frame this query and give it to the entity manager, okay? And that will be printing, that will be getting the details back and returning to us, right? So this is under the hood implementation. To answer to your question, Shahan, who will be writing queries if we can implement everything? Okay, let's see whether we can implement everything or this is just only some parts. Let's come to here. Can I do group by condition here? I don't think we can do group by. Is it possible for me to do group by?
No.
So of course I need a query, right? At the point
Yes.
of time, if there is a requirement for me to do group by, I have to do group by. There is no other choice for me.
Yeah.
Right? How can I do that? Simply, all you
So
do is
at that query we will be using.
at the rate query. That's okay. You know about that, but the other persons who doesn't know, I'll be
Okay.
explaining this.
Sure. Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Let's say I'm expecting a list here. For example, list of truck details. Truck details. Okay. Fine. Okay. Again, guys. Here you may think you can give any name. Yes, of course it will work. But the thing is, you have to follow the naming conventions. That is a good practice. Okay. That is a good practice. Right. Let's see how I can do that. Let's do a very simple query. Okay. Then we go for the complex ones. So I'm going to use this Spring Data repository. Find, what am I going to find? Find based on what? Find all trucks. Even this kind of queries you can write. Write using greater than less than conditions. So I'm going to write whose kilometers is less than 1,000. Okay, something like that, just for query. Okay, whose all trucks km less than, that's all. I'll be passing the parameter here. So basically it is of type, let me get the type here. So basically it is of type long, total kilometer, right? So I'll be taking the total kilometer as long, right? Long, and my, let's name it kilometer or kilometers, right? Select is optional, guys. Again, select is optional, but for a better understanding, I'll be writing select. Select asterisk from, right? Let's name this truck underscore. Here I'll be using the entity names, okay, instead of our native names. So I'll be using this truck details. So basically, whenever you are going to write, you need to write truck details T. So I'll be getting T here from T, where WHERE, where what is my field here? What is my field? Total kilometer is less than, you can pass like this, or you can put question mark 1, and that based on it will take. So this is named queries. You can do named queries like this. So whenever you specify like this, our JPA will understand I need to input a value here like that. Else there is other way. You can specify using the uh, index numbers, for example 1, like that. So that means whatever is there in our query, in our method, from the index starting from the left side. So this is my index 1. Let's say if I have one more parameter here, one more long something like year, so that index will be 2. Okay, for now we have only one index, and I'll be using named query kilometers, right? Perfect. Now let's implement this functionality. Where is our truck service? So I'll be changing the same again. Maybe I'll change the path variable here, long. Instead of VIN number, I'll be using km. Instead of km, perfect. So I'll be using km. Okay, truck by kilometers, right? Truck by kilometers. So I'll be getting, instead of optional, I'll be getting list of trucks. List dot is empty if it is not empty. Okay, so I'll be getting truck details. Perfect. Now let's implement this. Right, I already have a query, so all I have to do is use appropriate query. Find by, where is my find by? I can't find the total kilometers. Oh, okay, what is my appropriate query? Let me find, copy paste that. Right, and I'll be passing km here. That's all. It is loading. Did load. Let's go here. I will specify km. So it's what is my IP? Sorry, what is my? I'm a little bit confused about my endpoint. Truck by VIN number. Crap, I'm getting VIN here. It's km. Perfect. Now it should work. Truck by VIN and kilometer equal to, let's say, 10,000. Hope it loaded. Perfect. If there is any issues, we can fix it. Okay. Truck by VIN 404 not found. Okay. That means there is issue with our API. Okay. Perfect. Let me take that. Search, SERCH search. It's a path param, guys. I'm passing it as a query. I'm having a worse day today. Sorry. Okay, so internal server error. Let's see what is that. Okay. Uh, Invalid data access API uses exception. For queries with named parameters, you need to use provided names @param. Okay, you can do that. So it is specifying actually we missed right over here. We missed something like
Yes,
@param.
at the rate.
So for named queries, you need to name appropriately here like that in the double quote like that. So this is a complaint it is telling.
Harish,
Yes, please.
one thing. I just want you to explain after some time, like what is the which one is have great performance, like JPA query, JPQL, HQL, native queries, or named queries.
Yeah, we'll get there because that depends on mappings. I will come to mappings in some time. Okay, I'm just
Okay.
showing you guys the different ways on how you can retrieve the queries. Anyway, I'll come to
Yeah,
mappings and I'll speak about the performance as well.
yeah, sure.
Okay, right. Where are we? It might have loaded. So let's go back here. See that we are getting list of queries. So any questions, guys? Any questions on that? Okay, no questions. Cool. Let's move forward. And you can write any kind of query, guys, here by passing this parameter, like whatever the complexity. You can write any query by using query. Now let's see. Uh, Before going into further discussion, I want you guys to know about some mappings, the ORM mappings. So we will be using the same mappings here. Okay, let me open the notepad. So what is a mapping first? What is a mapping? Why we need mappings? What is a mapping? Why we need mappings? Can't we survive without mappings? Can't we survive without mappings? Right? Now, I want somebody from the persons who have work experience, them to speak. What is the need for mapping? Can we survive without mappings? And after that, I'll explain in native words. I mean, like very layman terminology. Can somebody please tell me? Take initiation and tell me. Okay. No one. Why am I putting this? How about Shahan?
Yeah, Harish, you're asking about mapping the fields, all those things, or what?
No, no, no. The mappings in ORM.
ORM. Basically, we are mapping with the our Java class with the DB table columns.
No, 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 no. That not the ORM mapping. We already spoke about ORM mapping. Like we have one-to-one mapping, one-to-many. Those
Okay,
mapping.
okay, those mappings, right? Uh, it is for relating the data, like what we say. Suppose we are the student, we are having we can enroll in multiple courses, so we will be having one-to-many relationship. So it
Okay,
is basically defining what we have the relation between the objects or objects basically.
perfect.
So a student object is having multiple relationship with the multiple courses. He can enroll in multiple courses. So it will be one to many. Like this, we will be having many to one and many to many.
Perfect.
This is what we.
That's correct. Let me explain in another way. Okay. So what is this,
Yeah, sure.
guys? Object relational mapping, right? And we will be dealing with a relational database, right? So we will be dealing with relational databases. So our ORM is always related to only relational databases, guys, like MySQL, Oracle, Postgres, like this kind, DB2. like this kind. So we will be dealing with RDBMS, right? RDBMS. So if you observe properly in RDBMS, in our previous session when we spoke about MySQL, so I explained there will be a relation between each and every table, right? So it can be foreign key constraint, primary foreign key constraint, or a composite key constraint. That depends, right? So there will be a relation between the tables in DB. So how are we going to represent this? How are we going to replicate this feature in our Java? Because we are mapping the objects, Java objects, to the DB objects. So at the same time, we need to map the relationships as well, right? So how can we do that? For that purpose, we have this mapping concept, different mappings. Okay, right. First of all, what is a relation? Before going to different mappings, what is a relation? What is a relation? So we already saw what is the relation. It is like just like a primary key foreign key relation, like PK2 foreign key relation, right? In how many ways will it exist? Is it a primary key foreign key relation, or is there any other relations which we have? So we will see about all those things. But basically, for a layman terminology, for to understand this object relational mapping, how we will be mapping with the entities to entity. So for example, let's take a simple primary key relation. Okay, simple primary foreign key relation. For example, let's take, let me open this right over here. Okay, let's take a very simple example of okay, let me think. Okay, let's take our database only. Very simple example. Okay, so we have our truck details here. This is our truck details, right? And we already have one more table by name user truck details, right? User underscore truck underscore details. So there is a relationship between these two, primary key foreign key relation. So there is a truck license here, there is truck license here, right? TRUCK truck license. So here, for every row in this column, there will be a row here, only one row, not more than that, right? Because the way we are inserting into our truck database, whenever we insert a truck details, we'll be inserting the truck information and the person who inserted that. So at any given point of time, a person can insert only one truck, right? I mean, like for that truck, same truck cannot be inserted twice. If there is a case, it will be called as modified. That means updation. Still, we will be having the same ID. So here, for every one record, there will be only one record here. Clear? So this is called as one-to-one mapping. One-to-one. Guys, any questions on that? Because we need to understand these mappings, guys. So any questions, concerns, anything? Clear. Now let's see. Let me do this for one-to-many. Okay? How we have some other mappings like one-to-one, many-to-one, many-to-many, one-to-many. Okay? Let's see that. Clear. One more time. Same. We have this truck database, truck details here. Okay? We have our user truck details, right? And we have a user table or a login table, right? There is a relationship between these two. We have a username here, that is a primary key, and it is a foreign key here, right? So in this case, a particular user can insert n number of trucks, right guys? Right or wrong? The statement, n number of different trucks, not the same truck, n number of different trucks. So it will be 1 to n, right? That is one-to-many mapping. So any questions, guys? Again, in another word,
Can you again?
sorry, what is that?
Can you explain again?
Okay, let me erase this. Okay, I'll explain again. Where is our pointer? Okay, crap, I'm not able to get my pointer back. Just give me a minute. Okay, now I got it. Right. For example, a user inserts a truck into this database. So for that point of, oh, it came to mouse point, text, crap. Sorry guys, I am not able to get that. So I'm clearing all the drawings and I'll be drawing a new one again. Maybe I will do it in paint. It will be easier to understand. Paint. Why is it not opening today? Why everything is not working? Paint. Right. Okay, come on. Yes. So this is our database details, 3 tables, right? And let's name them. Where's my text? Let's name them. This is truck details, right? And let's name this user underscore truck underscore details, right? And let's name this uh, login details, login underscore details, right? Now, so we understood one to one, right? So I'll explain again. For every record in this table, for every single record, there will be only one record here. That means there is a truck ID, truck license. So for every single truck license, there will be a single truck license here, because we cannot have more than one truck with the same license, right? So for that purpose, we mapped primary key and foreign key. So it is a 1-to-1 mapping. Clear with that?
Yes.
Perfect. Now let's see the other way. Let's see the other mapping. That is 1-to-n mapping, one to many. Right. We have a username here. Username here. The same username is mapped here as a primary foreign key. Right. Now a single user, let's say Harish, can insert n number of trucks, 10 trucks, 20 trucks, right? So a single user can insert 10 trucks. Doesn't matter, 20, 30 trucks. So that means for every single truck which he inserts, there will be a user mapped to this table, right? There will be a mapping here for the table. So that means here n and 1. Cool? If you speak from this perspective of view, right? One to many. Right, guys? Clear? Any questions on that? Guys, yes, no? Are still confused?
Yeah, clear. Rajesh.
Cool. Now let's see the other way around. Okay? Now we saw one to many. Now many to one. We'll see many to one. Same example. We'll see from the perspective of view this truck, right? So for each and every record, there is only one record present in that, right? So n and 1. If we look from user underscore truck details perspective of view, that is many to 1. Clear, guys? Any questions?
Clear. Rajesh.
Perfect. Now let's see altogether. We don't have those kind of scenario here. Altogether a different example. Let me erase everything. Let me create a new one. Okay, we have, let me take the same example which our Shahan gave, like that. It will be easier to understand. student, student, and here we have let's take it as a course, course, right? So this is where is my home pencil? This I will be representing as many to many. Why is that? Let's take, say for example, we are all in first year, engineering first year, okay? And we have 6 courses. Say for example, Harish is a student, right? And there are some other students along with me. Let's say Shahan is one more student, right? And so on, and so on. Akshay, and so on, like Spring Boot, whatever you want. There are these many students, and I have 6 courses here. For example, giving an example, 6 courses like C, C++, Java, Oracle, and all those things, right? These are my 6 courses. Now Harish can register to all the 6 courses, right? Similarly, Shahan can register to all the 6 courses. At the same time, Akshay can register to all the 6 courses, and whoever else is there, they can register to all the 6 courses, or maybe less, okay? At least maybe more than one. So if you look at this perspective of view, you can look from the student perspective of view or from the course perspective of view. This is a many to many relation, that is end to end. Why? Because a single record, for example, if you speak in the database language, here student is a single record, is being mapped to multiple records here in the course. Similarly, a single record of course is being mapped to multiple students here, if you speak in the database terminology. So that's why it is end-to-end mapping, that is many to many mapping in the Java. Any questions, guys?
Clear, Harish?
So how about others, the persons who never worked on any of this stuff? I know it's a little bit complicated, but I'm trying to explain in the very layman terminology. If you guys didn't understand, please let me know. I'll try to even explain a little bit better. I'll try in that way. Cool. So no questions. Let's move forward. Okay, don't save. I'm writing here 1-to-1, 1-to-1 mappings, right? Many to one, many to many, and one to many. Okay, cool. Now let's see quickly how we can implement our first mapping 1-to-1. Right. For that purpose, I don't need this. I'm going to delete this. Okay, there is an error because I deleted that. Okay. Details, there is an error here. Right. Let's take a quick example. Class. I'm going to name it after the database table name, that is user truck details. If you want to have a look, please have a look. User truck master. I'm going with user truck details. I don't want to go with master. Anyway, I'll be mapping to master. That is different case though. User truck capital T RUCK TRUCK details. Okay. Now I want to make it as entity. For that purpose, I'll be using entity. Right. And it's not exactly the same name which I'm going to use for my table. So I'm declaring the name. Perfect. Okay, now I need a table name, valid table name. So I'm going with the valid table name. Name equal to, let's name it after the same user underscore truck underscore. So that's underscore truck underscore table. Perfect. Right. Now let's pick our primary key foreign keys. That's based on our columns. Right. I have a column of ID, username, and truck license. My ID is auto-generated. Right. Let's go with ID, private. My ID is long, long. You can use small long. It doesn't matter. Long. So let's name the ID as ID field, and I need to specify the strategy at the rate generated value. So one equal to generation type dot auto increment. Perfect. That is good. Now let's specify the column name if you want, even though it is the same column name. If you want, you can specify the same column name. Column name. Right. At the rate. First, let me declare the private string. We have truck. Again, guys, this is one way. Let me show you again from the beginning. That's why I'm trying truck, truck, truck and truck underscore. What is the name? Truck underscore license. Underscore license. But I will be using truck license like that. Okay, and that is going to map to column truck underscore licence. Perfect. That's in the double quote, and I need to give a name. Right. Let's take the other column as well. Private. Why am I using private string user name? Right. Let's see at the rate column name equal to truck underscore. Sorry, it's not truck underscore. It's user underscore name. That's my column name. Right. Now I haven't defined a mapping here. Right. So let's find out the mapping. Go here, and there is a mapping between truck license and truck details at the same reference column, right? Truck details and truck license. So let's do the same here. Okay, for that I'll be declaring private truck details. Truck details. I don't want to specify that as empty. I'll be using that. Now here comes our mapping. So it is a one-to-one mapping. So one-to-one, because we already discussed about this. If you want, you can specify the target entity, class name, and everything. So for, let's say I'm specifying target entity. So which class it is going to map, which entity. Truck details dot class. Right. Now, okay, here is the thing which I need to speak. Fetching. So there are two types basically. So you can be a lazy fetcher or a eager fetcher. Eager means whenever we're loading, it will be loaded at the point of time whenever this getting the call. Lazy means whenever is called, whenever is required. But lazy will throw an exception, lazy initialization exception, I guess. So that's basically for the loading purpose. That's all. Eager and lazy. So I'm specifying eager. And here we already spoke about cascade. It's CASCADE. If you remember the cascade when I'm explaining about the database, So I specified the drop down columns to specify whether what kind of cascade I need to take. This is basically when you are going to insert something or delete something or refresh something, okay, or update something on a table. Let's say there is a relation between this table and my truck license table, right? So if my truck details table, right, if there is some modification in the truck details table, right, how it has to behave, that means whether I need to drop, whether I need to update, whether I need to do any other changes, so how it has to behave, that kind of information we'll be providing here. So basically I'm providing cascade.all, do everything, cascade type dot all, cascade, oh, it's a capital C, cascade type, CSA, CASCA, spelling mistake, CASCA, cascade type, where is my type, why can't you come up, dot all. See, that's so far whatever I spoke, it's all here. So I'll be taking all. Now everything is good, but my column names are different. So HQL, this JPA will take default column name if I don't specify the references, right? Let's see this. For that, join column, and I'll be using name equal to, what is my join column? So if you see properly, the join column name will be truck underscore license, right? Let's give that truck underscore LICENSE, right? Now what is the column name in this particular entity which it is going to refer? So that is reference column. So it's the same column, truck underscore license, okay, and that's all, everything is done. Now let's see, let's get getters and setters, source, getters and setters for everything, perfect, and source, let's generate constructor using fields. I don't want ID, I'll be generating everything else. And let's see default constructor, run with, where is my run with, source default constructor using fields, deselect all, that's it. Right, now I have mapping. This is called as unidirectional mapping, right? Because I didn't specify this kind of mapping in the another table where there is exists a relationship, right? This is kind of as unidirectional mapping. We'll see a bidirectional mapping later. Now, do you guys have any questions on this concept, whatever we discussed so far? Okay, right. Now let's see quickly how can we modify our API service, or maybe truck detail service if we have anything else. Truck details API, that's basically get. I'm not interested in get right now, sorry, post right now. So let's take this our search API service. So let's quickly modify this service. Okay, instead of get truck by license, get user details. Again guys, this is a user information, so we need to create a new service. Again, that depends on your business needs. Get user truck details, right? For that purpose, for now I'll be getting everything. So I'm not taking any input, so it will be user here, right? So I'm getting everything. Let's say user slash all for better understanding. I'm going to get, okay, before going to do any changes, do I have a repository to handle that? I don't have one, right? So let's quickly create the repository. New class and my repository name. Let's name it after the same class. User truck details repository. Generate comments. I don't need comments, sorry. I forgot to extend. So that's why I'm going to extend here. JPA entity, ENTITY. No, let me pick it from here. JPA repository. JPA repository. Ah, crap. Like that. Why is it not coming up? What did I miss? Okay, instead of truck details, so
Harish, it should be interface, not class.
crap. Interface. That's why we're having issues. So it's of type user truck details. So, and I will be passing my primary key. The primary key which I defined is of type long. Again, guys, I cannot use this one primitive data types, so I have to use wrapper classes here. So that's why I'm going with this. Now, how can I specify it as a repository? REPOSITY repository. Cool. That's all. Now let's implement our service. API service. So I'll remove that. Get all user truck info, and that's all. So here I'll be getting, let's take this as user truck details, and it will be a list, right? I'll be getting a list. User truck details. Perfect. Is empty. If it is not empty, just pass this and create that. That's all. I don't know how to get here. Create method. So now I have to import the method. Private user repository dot, sorry, not dot, user repository information. Right. Like dot find all. That's all. Okay. Let's see how we are going to get. There will be exception. I'll tell you why. We'll see that. Okay, the exception is because I defined a column name by name truck underscore details. It is a duplicate column, right? I cannot use that again and again because there is a link by using truck details. See, truck underscore license should be mapped with insert underscore false, update underscore false. Let's speak about that. Let me copy this. Ah, crap. Edit, copy. Right, where is the truck details? Where is our user? Here, if you observe properly, I specified a mapping, and also I am declaring the mapping variable here, which I don't want that to happen, right? Because it may end up in the duplicate mappings. It is called as a duplicate variable. I don't want that. Our JPA doesn't like it. So for that purpose, what I have to do is I need to make it as a read-only variable. So how can I do that? Simply put comma insertable equal to false. That means we are not going to insert this. And updatable equal to false. That means even at the time of updating, we won't be doing that. Perfect. Now, and that's all. Now we won't be having any issues here. See that? Gone. Now let's simply do that search. Our search API is, where is our user truck? Oh, sorry, too many tabs. User truck all. Okay, right. Let's see user truck and all. Okay, right. There is a error. Null pointer exception. Truck API truck user info 56. Get all truck users info. Let's see what is error. Okay. Okay, now I understood. Let's open this. Right, let me do a select on this table first. Right, I'm doing a select on this table. So there are multiple columns, so multiple trucks, and let's do a table on user truck information. So we have very limited information here. That means there are some orphans, right? There are some orphans. That means there are some null characters when we are joining and when we are joining the two tables together, the joining key is null. So our JPA doesn't know what it has to do, right? That is a problem. Now let's fix that error by using. I'll just fix that error simply by removing the reference column, and after that I will specify how we will be working with the reference column. Okay, by making sure that everything works fine. Now let's see. Simply go to here. Where is here? 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 Our truck details, truck user information, my repository. Where is my this one? Right over here. So I'll just simply remove this. Take even null. I don't mind. That's all. It should work. Okay, it's still loading. Yes. No, it's still. Let me load it forcefully. Okay. Again, it may throw error because for null conditions, we didn't specify what it has to do. So let's see. If it throws error, we'll fix again. I'm hoping it should it will throw. Of course, I know. That's because if the column is null, I'm not specifying what I have to do, right? So let's do that simply by using new truck details. So it should fix it. Or we have to delete forcefully. I don't want that to happen because I need data. Okay, changed. Hibernate is weird. It behaves all weird ways. Ah, crap. Null pointer exception. Same. Okay, I need to delete orphans. Which I don't want that to happen. Okay, what can I do? What can I do without deleting orphans? I need to think a solution for this. What can I do? What can be done without deleting orphans? Anyway, we'll see that after the break. Let's take some break. I need to get some water, guys, and we'll be connecting again in 15 minutes. Thank you. Hi, guys. If you guys are back, we can start our session again. Okay, cool. Sorry. Okay, one bonus. Yes. Okay, before guys, I'll wait maybe a couple of minutes and then we can continue. Okay. Cool. Okay. Okay, guys. Let's continue. So, where were we? We were at getting some exception. Okay. The exception was right over here, and I thought it is because of the orphans. No, it's not because of the orphans. We created this variable here, and we never uh, told how it has to behave. That means we never told from where it has to pick the map the objects. So I forgot to do this mapping. So that's why we are getting that for your just for fun again to show you guys what I did. So that was not there. So which means basically it is null. So we'll be getting the same exception. All I did is just that one. Okay. So same error. We didn't read it properly. So we didn't analyze it properly. It was never complaining about ORM. It was never complaining about Hibernate or anything. It's just a null pointer exception showing at line number 57. And we have to go all the way to 57. Let's have a look at 57. Right over here. So this is null. That's because of this. We didn't include it in our constructor, parameters constructor. That means our IOC we never told to our IOC that how it has to map with the existing repository. And that's all I did. Now it should work. It's not loading. Let it load. Saved. Why is it not loading then? Okay, let me kill it. Open it again. Okay, cool. Let's quickly have a look at it. That's all. Worked. Any questions, guys? Any questions on that? This is a unidirectional mapping, guys. If you see properly, I just called for only user information. That means I need to get only this information till here. I'm getting truck also. I cannot see this in the raw. How can I see it raw? Where is my view page source? No. I'm not sure, guys. I'm not familiar with this browser, how I can do that. So, but anyway, this is a response. If you observe properly, we have the truck information as well. That is because of the mapping which we did. Okay. So any questions, guys? Any questions, any concerns? Right. If you guys don't have any questions, we can move forward. Else, if you have any kind of question regarding any topic which we discussed so far, I'll be more than happy to explain. Cool. No questions. Perfect. Now quickly see. Okay, quickly we will see how to do a bidirectional mapping. For that purpose, we will be doing a bidirectional mapping in here. Okay, right over here. Let me delete everything whatever I don't need. Right, how can I do a bidirectional mapping here? Private. I'll be getting it's a one-to-one mapping again. So private user truck details, right, at the rate 1-to-1, and this time I will be using a column called mapped by. Okay, sorry, my bad. So that mapped by, where I'll get it from? I'll get it from here. So if you observe properly, this is my mapped column, truck details, like that. Okay, and if you want, you can specify fetch type dot lazy. If you want cascading thing, you can go, or else you can leave it as it is. Right. Anything else do I need to specify here? basically I can specify the join condition again if I like, but I don't do that. All I need is I have everything information provided already. I don't want anything, but here instead I'll add the reference column. Reference column equal to truck underscore license, LICNC. Perfect. And that's all I have to do. Right, now let's see how your bidirectional mapping works. Here guys, there is a problem with the bidirectional mapping. I'll show you the problem also. Okay. Um, let me load this. Let me load this. The same thing what we loaded so far, like this. We got it, right? Let me load. Do I have a method to load all the trucks? Do I have a method to load all the trucks? Do I have a method to load all the trucks? Get truck by kilometer, get truck by. Right. No, I don't have one. So I'll be doing that in the search API. Same way I'll be doing the truck all. So API.get all trucks. All trucks. Get all truck details. So it is a truck details information, right? Okay, get all truck details. I will be passing this truck details here. Perfect, everything is good. Right, create method. So I'll be using the same repository. So this time I'll be using the truck details repository dot find all. Okay, should be loading. Okay, so truck all. We got all trucks. So any questions, guys? Because I didn't specify any giant column here, that's why I'm getting all the trucks. So any questions? Let's see the problem here. The problem which I've been speaking about. Here, let's do getters and setters. Source, where is my source? I can find source. Source, getters and setters. Select all. I'll be deleting this thing here. Right. Source, where is my source? Constructor using fields. Okay, I'm selecting everything. Perfect. Right, now everything done. I didn't change any code. Let's see the same functionality, how it behaves right now. Where is my this one? Right. See this. This is the issue which I have been speaking about, guys. If you see, it is going to the infinite loop. Right? That is because I'll tell you guys. Let's go to our console. Can somebody tell me, whoever worked with this ORM, why we are going into this infinite loop? Okay, I will only explain.
I think it is because the cyclic dependency.
Exactly. It is because of cyclic dependency. It is a bidirectional mapping which I did just right now. Okay, it's a bidirectional mapping which we just did. So that's why it is going into that. Let me explain for the persons who never worked on this. It will be better if I explain with a picture. I can't find the picture here. Why it's not coming? Okay, paint, paint, paint. Okay, now let's take this as our Java objects. This is one object, and this is one more object, and let's name this truck details. And let's take this. What is the other one? It's a user truck details. User truck details. Okay. So, excuse me. So let's take this. Now for our bidirectional mapping, first what I did, I created a truck details information here, and I specify it as a one-to-one mapping, and I mapped with this. So that means my truck details is mapped with, sorry, my user details is dependent on truck details. Now in the bidirectional mapping, what did I do? Specify the same here. So I created one more object here of type user, user truck details or whatever, here truck details. So and I specified one-to-one mapping. So now my JPA will come here. I'm doing a query for truck. Say it will come here. Okay, it will load all the prerequisites like ID, everything, whatever the truck details, and it finds out there is a join condition, right? So it will go here based on this condition. So it will load this data, right? Everything is good so far. Here again after loading there is a join condition, right? So it will go here. It will load this data again, the same data with the join condition again, and the cycle repeats. Right, guys? Understood? Any questions on this? Right. Let's see how to fix it.
In what condition we should use bidirectional data?
Basically, when there is a like, let's say if you are inserting a record, it has to insert in two different tables with the same request, though, right? We can use a bidirectional
Okay.
to maintain the consistency everywhere. Mean by like, I hope you guys know consistency, database consistency, that ACID properties, one of the ACID
Yes.
properties, right?
Yes. Yes.
So to
Yeah.
maintain that, we'll be using this bidirectional. Now let's see how we can fix that. Okay, let's go to here. Our let's come here. Let's come to truck details. I'll specify there is a property called JSON ignore.
Yes.
That's all. It's a quick fix, guys, but we should not use this. Okay, try to avoid as much as possible this bidirectional thing until unless it is required. Now let's see this. It's still loading, I guess. Still loading. I didn't load. Let me kill it and open it again. Perfect. Loaded. So let's see all trucks. So guys, we got a very minimal, whatever is required, along with our truck information. If you see the truck information, this is my truck information, like that. Cool. Any questions on that? Any concerns? Any questions? Perfect. So now let's see simply how I can insert the data. Okay, insert the data. Right. For that purpose, what I have to do is I need to have a API. Oops, my bad. Let me open the other one. API. So I'll be, instead of auto wiring, I'll make use of the auto configuration stuff, which our Spring Boot will detect and automatically wire it. Is it API service? Perfect. API service. Truck details API. So I'll be taking this. You can ask who will inject this. Like how our IOC knows that I have to inject into truck constructor instead of auto wiring, right, guys? One question to all of you, because we have been discussing about Java for a while right now. So how do I create an object? So what will happen when I create an object? So please think about and tell me. Anyway, it is not related to this JPA though, but it is general Java concept. I just wanted to understand. That's all.
You want to say like what will happen when we create the objects?
Yes, like, okay, I'm
This,
providing an
yeah,
instruction saying
basically,
that, say for example, class A equal to new A. So how JVM will understand? That's what I need. What is new A here?
basically we are calling the constructor of class here
Right.
while creating the objects.
Exactly. So behind the screen, what will happen? My JVM, the class loader. So it will be in everything in the bytecode format, right? So it will compile, it will process one by one, and it will find out the appropriate place where we declared this default constructor. If you don't have default constructor, it will assume that you have. But if you are using parameterized constructor, let's say you have unlimited parameterized constructor. That means based on your needs, you can define a number of parameterized constructors, not with the same values though. Okay, different values. I mean like different parameters, and it will find and it will create the object for us. That is what is going to happen. So at the time of creating object, it will reserve a place for the object in the main memory. So this is the overall hierarchy. So now based on that concept only, right over here, so when I specify a truck details API with a constructor, our Spring Boot by default assumes that there exists a constructor with parameters, and it will find the parameters, and it will find the type of the parameters, and it will find the appropriate objects with the type in IOC in the container, and it will provide them with the appropriate object. So that's how my our auto, I mean like the auto configuration works. That's how our IOC decides how it has to do. Okay, now I don't want this XML, so quick changes again. Application dot JSON, application dot JSON value. Okay, it consumes. Why is it throwing an exception? Post mapping consumes. Perfect, that is good. Oh, I don't want the atom. Crap. Application XML value. Where is my JSON value? This is the one. Ah, application. Perfect. That's what I need. Okay, I want a truck details. I'll be posting this time. So I'll be posting. Let's take this truck details. Truck details. DETAILS. Perfect. So I'll change that to truck details. Here, instead of I'll be using my truck details. Details. Let's say if truck details is not equal to null. Guys, I assume that you guys know what I'm doing, that I'm writing. So that it's what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to insert the data and trying to get that response. And if the response is not null, only I'm going to send it back to the user, basically. So that's all I'm doing here. So for that purpose, I'm modifying the methods. If you guys didn't understand anything, please speak up so that I can explain while typing. So I'm passing this here. So I'll be getting this response entity truck details. So I'll be getting that here, and that's all. Rest everything you know how to do response conversion and everything. Now let's quickly implement this method here. So create method. So I'll be using for that purpose truck details repository dot save and flush. So I'll be sending this truck details. Right. In my truck details, I need to do a little bit of changes. So I'm loading everything. Truck details perfect. Truck details perfect. Cool. Let's do change in the user truck details. Okay. This dot truck details dot set user truck details. Set this here because of the bidirectional dependency. At the same time, I'm going to do that here. This dot user truck details dot set truck details, and I'll be going to set this. That's all. Okay. Now I need to check my constructor if this is in a position to handle this truck license. I don't want truck license. Truck license is my primary foreign key here. So I'll take out this, right? Take out that. We'll be having the rest of the things. Okay, now let's do that. For that purpose, let's see the API. Oh, where is my API? My API is here. Truck details, right? And a truck. Truck details and a truck. So let's quickly go to truck details and a truck. I hope I have this, which we already have. It's not responding, guys. Please wait. Sorry about that. Excuse me. Come on. Sorry, guys. Yeah, now no, it's not working now. Let me kill it and open again. This one. Taking time. This one. Something is wrong. Okay. Sorry, guys, it's taking time today. My system is stuck a little bit. Crap. Anyway, let it open. In the meantime, let's discuss how it's going to store, how it's going to find out, how it is going to get the primary key and insert it into the appropriate table. Let it load. So let me open my paint. Again, objects, objects, truck details, and truck details. User truck information, user underscore truck underscore information or details. That is a table name. Right. Now we have a mapping here. Again, let me take a small one. So we have a mapping here and we have a mapping here. Right. It is a bidirectional mapping again, this way and this way. So what I'm doing is whenever I'm getting a request, I'm setting this, I'm filling this with appropriate values. I just need only username for now. And I'm sending it to this one again. Here, I'm sending the truck information again for just to get the cyclic thing going, Okay. And now I'm not spending the primary key, but my JPA will do that for me because I specified that ID here and the join conditions. Okay. Now let's quickly have a look at that. So any questions on this implementation? Cool, no questions. Perfect. So let's take this body. So I have username and do I need a truck details here? Truck license, it will insert. I don't need that. Perfect. User information, truck details. Let's see. Okay, unsupported exception application.json. Not supported. So are we sending application.json? We are sending JSON. Perfect. Where is my content type? Application.json. It is not supported. For some reason, it is not going to appropriate. Okay, why is it still XML value? Sorry guys. Application JSON. Where is my JSON? Application JSON value. Perfect. I thought I changed it. That's my bad. Okay. Now let's see. Invalid data access API usage exception. Okay, let's try to debug that. Okay, Hibernate transient property object references unsaved transient, save the transient instance before flushing. Okay, that is a problem with the flush which we used. Let's fall back to save only. Where is our service? Where is our service? Let's fall back to save, not slave. Sorry, my bad. Save. So let it load. Okay, now let's quickly send and we'll see. Oh, again, same error. This time, what is it? org.springframework.davo data validate flushing again. Unsaved transient. Let me have a look at in the console what it is trying to tell us. Okay. User truck details with root cause. Okay. Nested exception is save the transient instance before flushing. Okay. I'm doing that already. Crap. This is save transient. I didn't encounter this error. Have you guys have any idea, guys? The persons who worked already. What did I mess up here? Okay, let me do the other way. I guess I'm having some issues with this today. So instead of this here, I don't want to set it to this again. Where is my setter object for that? Set truck details. So user truck details dot set truck details. So I'll be passing this. I don't think it will change anything, but here again the same thing. I just wanted only this. That should be good. Let's see how it behaves. And I will change it to persist here. Onto my one-to-one mapping, I will change it to cascade to persist. CASCADE to cascade equal to spelling mistake, cascade type dot persist. Okay, cool. Let's see if it goes away. I'll kill it. Okay. Let's see this again. This time, invalid resource usage exception. Nested exception is grammar. Error performing isolated. Okay, let's see what is that error again. Okay. Hibernate sequence does not exist. I don't want Hibernate sequence to be performed, right? Why it is asking for Hibernate sequence? Select next value as ID value from Hibernate sequence for update. It is weird. Do not read high value. Okay, I understood the problem, probably because I need to send the truck details as well. I mean like the um, truck underscore license ID as well. So let's see that, how I can send the truck details ID. So I will save this. So I will unsave this, truck license, string truck license. Crap, why is not coming up? Truck license, and that should be good. Okay. Okay, let's kill it and run it. Okay. No. Next exception is SQL grammar, performing isolated work, tag vendor. So why is it going to tag vendor? What did I do wrong here? What kind of mapping did I do? I never mentioned truck hibernate sequence. Did I mention any sequence there, generation type, by mistake? Let's have a quick look.
I don't think.
Ah, here I mentioned generated value, strategy generation auto, right? So it is failing here. Okay, what is my value here? ID is good. Column name is ID. Auto generation type. What is my generation type here? Auto. So it's not able to generate the auto sequence. What is the problem? Identity. I guess it will not change anything. So there is something issue with our table structure properly. I guess uh, I couldn't. It couldn't continue the sequence because we did not create the sequence using this JPA, right? I understood that. That might be the problem. Cool. Okay. Anyway, let me try with this, and after that we can move forward. Okay. Right. So there is a problem, guys. Now it's clear. So the problem is we specified some auto increment, so it is not able to pick up that. So because this sequence is related to our DB and it is not related to JPA, so that's why it is not able to pick it. That is explained. So any questions on that, guys? Anyway, I'll be showing you that when we move to the H2 database. H2 database is like in-memory database. I promised I'll be showing you something about that. So in that we can see like how it works. Okay. Cool. Any questions? Any concerns? I'm repeating again. The problem is because we have some inbuilt data and we are relying on the inbuilt sequence, right? So it is the inbuilt sequence which is related to MySQL, the auto generation part, and that is not able to map with the Hibernate thing, the JPA. So that's why we are getting that exception, right? Now, any questions on this concept? Whatever we discussed so far. Okay, cool. Let's see the concept of, right. Again, guys, previously I told there is a issue with our JSON ignore, right? You can use something like for the question asked by Shahan, you can use something like JSON. Let me think about that. JSON property, I guess. JSON property. Yes, it's been a while. So, and you can specify the access equal to JSON property. Where is my JSON property? JSON property property dot access dot read only. Sorry, write only. That means while we're reading, we will not get the we don't have to use this JSON. Ignore. So while reading, we will not get the mapped response. That means, say for example, in our case, I don't get this response. When I search for all the trucks, I'll get only this response till here. So that means I'm placing a constraint on top of the actual reading place. That means I'm specifying that use it only for um, writing purpose. That means the bidirectional will be allowed to write only for writing purpose. Cool. Any questions? Any concerns, guys? Okay.
Yes.
Clear. Cool. That's nice. Why did you open? This is nothing related to our. So go away. Okay. Now let's see. Let's talk about. Okay. Here is the thing, guys. Now I implemented one-to-one, right? So the task we can be implementing the same many to many, many to one, one to many. So it will be a task for you guys. Please get your hands dirty, and we'll see if you guys face any problems. I'll be always there to help you guys. Okay. Now let's see quickly how I can introduce a inbuilt database. That means Spring Boot has capacity to give me a inbuilt database. Let's see. I already included um, because when I copy pasted the dependencies came as part of that. Right over here. If I add this dependency, I will be able to get the uh, inbuilt database, and I can work with inbuilt database. So all I need to do is implement this dependency, and that's all. And let's see, it might have been building already. Okay, let me build it here. Spring Boot. Guys, again, I'm still connecting to MySQL. This is a, I just wanted to show you guys the logs. Okay, that means H2 is getting loaded. I just wanted to show you. So right over here. Oh, slow down. Okay, here, right over here. So H2 database is available at truck, right? So how can I access that? Let's simply go to localhost colon 8090, sorry, 888 slash here h2 hyphen console, right? Like this. Connect. As of now, we didn't specify anything. So the database is truck, which is available right now, right? So I'm trying to connect to truck fleet. Anyway, I didn't enable this feature in our properties. So, but anyway, we will be using this UI to connect to database, but I'll be showing everything here. Right. For that, I'll be needing some properties. Close all, some properties. So I don't need these properties anymore. Right. I'll not be connecting to MySQL. Instead, I'll be connecting to my in-memory database. But this is just for testing purpose. You can use, guys, but it's not in the real world application. We won't use in-memory database, because whenever you redeploy the application, since it is an in-memory database, it will go. The data will go. So the data won't be there in the database. So we won't be using that. Now, let's see the components which I need. Again, I need instructions. These are the instructions, guys. So spring.h2.console enable true, and my database URL is this one, and the platform is h2. Right. All I need to specify is just this. It's again, it is an inbuilt memory. database, and it is a relational database. That means it's just like any other relational databases like MySQL, Oracle. You can use SQLs to interact with that. Okay. Cool. Now let me rerun this. Okay. Excuse me. Okay. Now it's a truck fleet. Let's refresh that. Perfect. Connect. See that I never created details, guys. Again, I never created truck details. There is nothing. If you want, you can insert by using data.sql. There's no data. Run. There's no data. But at the time of startup, okay, our JPA has capacity to create the database. And in fact, whatever the column names you specified, you can see that ID, truck license, username, right? And this truck license is referenced to our truck details, and you can see the truck details here. Whatever the names you specify, truck underscore license, is underscore all underscore maintenance, the same exact replica of your entity getting created here, right? Even you can ask me, is it possible to do with any relational database? Of course it is possible, but the only condition here is you need to have the database available. That means schema available, not the entire table structure. It's just like schema, something like this. The dummy without any tables, dummy truck is good. That is a schema. It should be available. Otherwise, uh, at the database layer, our JPA doesn't have permission to create the schema itself. Instead, it has a permission to create tables, and we can populate the data as well at the time of startup. Right? How can I do that? Very quickly. Right over here, you can specify. I'm copying. New other. Let's name it. It's a text file. File. Data file. General file. Something like data.sql. It's taking time. Sorry, guys. Okay. So you can insert into values. Sorry, table name truck underscore details values, whatever the values you specify. So it will take here. That's all. If you include a data file here, the data.sql file, any SQL file, that means it is an indication to your JPA. Hey, at the time of loading, please take this and insert the data as well. Okay, insert the data as well. So this feature will be really helpful when you are using testing. For now, I'm not going to go in detail about that, but this is how you're going to access the um, inbuilt memory database, in-memory database. Okay, so any questions, guys? Any questions on that? Again, we cannot use it in the production. Remember, guys, we cannot use it in the production because the data will be lost whenever you redeploy. Of course, if it restarts also, all my jars will be re-triggered, right? I mean, I'll be pulling all the jars at the same time. It's also a part of a jar, so I'll be pulling a new one, and the old one I'm flushing out. So my old data won't be there. So that is a problem. So any questions, guys?
No, Rish.
Perfect. So the person whoever complained in the morning saying that they couldn't use uh, MySQL, please include this H2 jar file, and you should be able to work seamlessly without having any issues. And you need to have this application.properties. That's all. Cool. Right. Now, guys, was it helpful? Was it helpful for to learn about JPA, the session, or do you guys faced any issues? regarding the repositories or regarding anything. Okay, here is one more thing, guys. I forgot to tell. Transaction management is really easy here. All you have to do is go to your appropriate service. Let's say if I want to maintain some transactions here, all I have to specify is @transactional javax.transaction. Okay, and that's all. So what it does is here open connection. That means like if you are really familiar with SQL syntax, so first they will be using a starting point, and then they will be rolling back to that point. So that's starting point here, like opening point, and then this is commit. In case if there is an exception here, if there is an exception occurred before returning the values, so that will be rollback. We don't have to do that. It will automatically do that. We don't have to do literally anything. It will automatically do that. So this is advantage of transactional as well. Transaction, that jar file which we are using. So any questions on that, guys?
Even if we don't mention it, what it will do? It will perform the transaction. And
No. That depends. That depends on the way you configured. Guys, again, that depends on the way you configured. Say for example, in our case, I have a single record which is trying to insert into two tables. So it failed because at the same time I have to insert. Let's say I have something like one more here. Let's say for example I have to insert into, let's say I have to insert into user repository. This time user repository.save. I'll be passing, let's say, new user, come on, user details, user truck details. So for example this. So at this point of time, let's say if I didn't mention this transactional, my call is here, line number 72. That means it executed and it was successful, right? And my call is going to this one. So it is try to execute, but there is some exception. So I'm not rolling the entire transaction back. I'm just throwing exception. That's all. So what happened to the previously inserted data? It will be inserted. So we are not in the
it will.
asset properties in this case. We're not maintaining the consistency properly, right?
Yeah,
So there is a
got it.
default behavior. Again, there will be some here. I'm just showing a simple example. If you go to real time, there will be some batch processings going on. Like let's say if you are consuming some data, let's say for example, let's take simple example of Expedia and some other web application. Let's say Amadeus is a provider for Expedia. Okay, Amadeus is a service provider for Expedia, for example. That's all. Okay, maybe whatever the example we specified. For example, again, let's take Air Canada. Air Canada is a provider for this one. So Air Canada will be sending a bunch of details. Let's say for example, hundreds or thousands of records about the flights, like flight delays, flight information, um, flight journey times. If there is any bookings happened at that point of time, that booking information, that PNR codes, everything they will be sending some hundreds of records. So at that point of time, imagine if you are using a for each loop to go forward each and every time, how much time will it take to do that? So it's not recommended to use for each loop. So for that process we'll be using batch update. So batch means you will be selecting a bunch as a batch and we'll be updating that. So if there is any issue with that batch, even if a single record fails, you need to roll back all the records whatever you inserted and going to the starting point again. So that is called as transaction management. That's why we need here is just two statements. We don't need that. So any questions, guys? But that feature is really easy in JPA. In fact, in Spring Boot, even if you are using that the legacy code, all you have to do is put transactional and that will take care. So any questions?
Clear from my side.
Cool, thank you. And moving forward, right, I'll be deleting that. I'll be deleting all these things, comments. waiting. Right now, let's okay. I showed you the inbuilt database as well. That is good. It is similarly SQL, guys. You can use a normal SQL structure. Let's say, for example, select asset from truck underscore users. You can do that the normal regular SQL way. That's all. Okay, now next topic is about Spring security. Let's talk about Spring security. Spring security. Oh, where is my paint? It's over here. Let me remove all these things. Let me open a new one. Home. Oops, file. New. Don't save. Okay. How many of you guys aware about any kind of security, guys? Forget about Spring security. Any kind of security. What is security, first of all? Why do we need security?
To restrict the resources, letting leakage out. I mean to say, like, if someone wants to access, we need to verify whether it is a genuine person or not. Wherever we want to go, like in the
Let
college itself or in the company itself, we need to
me open
provide
it.
our ID card.
Okay. Let's talk about Spring security. No, basically security. Then we'll come to Spring security. Right. What is security? It's just a regular English term, whatever it means. Exactly the same meaning in our programming language, programming world also, guys. Okay. Security. Like before entering into any house, for example, let's take. I don't own that kind of house though. There will be some rich guys who will be having a watchman, a security guard, will be in front of the house. Okay, who will be examining all the persons who will be entering into that house, right? Whether we know that guy or not, right? If he knows whether he has to go to the main house or he has to go to the outhouse, right? Different scenarios. So to find out whether we know that person or not, right? Whether we know that person or not. That is why we need security. Very simple. In here, we need to understand multiple terminologies, but let's start with very basic terminology. Again, one more thing. No, that is fine. What is security in applications? Why do I need to provide security for applications? Isn't it open source? If it is open source, why I have to provide security for applications? For example, let's say you can use Google, right? It's a search engine. It's open source, which means it is available for every person, right? I don't need to provide any security for that kind of services. But for example, let's say I need to access a Google Drive, right? I'll be storing my documents, I'll be storing my PPTs, I'll be storing my photos, I'll be storing all the personal information related to me in my docs, Google Docs or Google Drive. So at that point of time, if it is not secured, some third-party person can take the information, all the personal information, right? So that is not good. So for that purpose, for every application which handles such kind of personal or financial or even any data, any kind of data, not only personal financial data, not even let's say web service which is implemented in um, let's talk about the same Expedia example again, the same lemon example which I gave, Expedia and Air Canada. So even the XML, the request and responses, we don't need to steal the information because we will be getting the flight numbers, the passenger details, everything that is secured because we're not supposed to share that kind of information everywhere, right? So even though those kind of services, not only social media services, all the services needs to be secured to protect the data which is inside in that, right? How are we going to provide security to an application? If it is a physical place, I can do that by appointing a security guard. Now in application, how can I do that? So there are multiple technologies available, right? For example, let's take, I don't want to use Spring Security. I want to implement my own technology, right? You are always uh, allowed to do that. You're always to do that, to implement your own technology, or to implement own security procedure. But what is the advantage of using the existing technologies, something like Spring Security, right? It again the same, whatever the advantages which we have with the frameworks, it also has the same exactly advantages. Like there are some guys who already spent their precious time to build this framework, right, which is widely accepted right now in the market. So why don't we use that? You may think, if it is popular, if it is popular, right, then there is a chance, some intruders may steal the data, because they know the implementation, they know the security feature, how it works and everything. Some information that there is a chance that someone can steal with proficiency, because it is widely open source available, right? That's why someone can steal information, right? Now, yes, that is one of the drawback of being very successful. Yes, everybody will follow your procedure, the protocol which you mentioned. I mean, like the steps. They will deeply study the architectural style, how you implemented. They'll get to know the classes, the methodologies which you implemented. They can always steal that. Of course, it is strongly backed by a big community. If there is any chance like that, if a security issue is there, they'll quickly release a patch within no time. That is one of the advantage as well, okay, with the Spring Security, right? Now we have been speaking about security, we have been speaking about Spring Security. Let's see how we can how it works actually, how the security Spring Security thing works, okay? But before going there, do you guys have any questions on the security which we discussed? Questions? Yes, no, true, false? Guys, if you didn't understand any concept, I'm happy to repeat again.
Clear from my side, Atish.
So everybody is clear with the security. Forget about Spring Security right now. We will speak about Spring Security in the next class and also. So it takes time. But about security, guys,
Yes.
because you need to understand what is
Yes.
security, why we need that.
Yes. Yes. I understand.
Cool, thank you. Now let's see. Again, this is a vague approach. Okay, I mean, like how a Spring Security works. Again, for the layman guys, I hope everybody knows security, normal security. This is our application. Let's say, for example, this is my application. This is my application, okay, which is running in production. For example, okay, there is some data in here. Let's consider this as services, okay, which will be interacting, which we are exposed. Give me pencil. Which we are exposed to the outside. I mean, publicly, which we are exposed, so people can access this, right? Now, if I expose to people, you are telling me, you can ask me a question. You are telling me people can access this. You are exposed to your web services. Then what is the problem? Why have to go with service security? Here is the thing. I don't want everybody to access my um, services, right? Say, for example, forget about say a personal information stealing. Forget about everything else. Forget about the information about the flights, the person details, tickets, everything. Let's say now, as a company owner, so I want my services to be paid. Very simple example. Forget about all those things. How can I do that? So now I took money from everybody saying that you can access these services. So I want to verify whether the person who is entering into my site or who is using my services, is it a valid person? That means has he paid with us or not? Okay, it's not related to security, guys, just a validation. So I will eventually get to there. So how can I do that? Think about it. How can I do that? So I need to write something here, maybe in front before granting access to my services. I need to place some kind of code or some kind of wrapper, anything, right? So that's based on that whether he's a legitimate user or not. Here I'll verify. If he is not, I will block here. I won't let him enter. If he is a valid user, I'll let him enter. Okay, very simple. The same exact concept goes to security as well. So how can I find out? So there should be a user authentication details provided, right? Somewhere. We'll talk about that. But before going there, let's see how an overview of how a Spring works. Spring framework, which provides Spring security, works. Right. Let me clear all these things. How many of you guys are aware of filters? What is a filter? What is a filter chain? I assume that you guys might have worked on filters and filter chains. Guys, yes, no? If you don't have idea, perfect. If you don't have any information, I will provide very basic information which is required for us to continue in this session for this tutorial. But I need answer from you guys whether yes, no, you guys know information or not.
No worries. I did not work so far.
Okay, right.
Better to explain some basics.
From basic it takes like 2 or 3 days, but I'll give you what is the information which we needed to continue in this Spring security.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, cool. Now I don't need this. Home. I'll go for a new one. You don't save. Okay, again, very simple diagram again. Filter. How many of you guys use it water filter?
Everyone at least.
Perfectly. That's good. So right over here before your jug, there will be a filter. Exactly same concept of filter. So in here, either you can block or you can enter. Let's say if there is a dirt particles, you are blocking them, and water, you are leaving it back. So similar to that here, how do I know whether it is appropriate user or not? How can I block? Let's say a user is entering here. So for example, username is Harish, right? And there is one more user, Spring Boot, right? So what exactly filter duty is? Block this request before going into my controller. There is a controller here, right over here. Okay, hold this request, check the request, who is entering, what kind of authentication he has, what kind of authorization he has. Okay, based on that, if he is authorized person, send it to appropriate controller. Let's say I have 10 controllers, but Harish has only access to 2 controllers. So I'll be giving access to only these 2 controllers by using filters, right? Now, what about the other person who doesn't have access at all? I'll be blocking the request here. I'll be sending like 401 exception, not authorized. That is the duty of my filter. That's all. So now what is a chain? A group of bunch of filters will form a chain like this. Very basic definition, guys. Again, can't I do everything in a single filter? Of course you can do, but the better performance will come with when you have a chain of filters. So right, let's see the chain of filters. Like these many, I have these many filters. First, my request will enter into this filter, like filter 1, filter 2, filter 3, filter 4, and filter 5. Let's say my request is entering into one filter. So my job of this filter is to validate, just a validation, whether user is available or not. So that means first time it is validated, it will send it to the next chain, next filter in the chain. So next filter, it will come here. This duty is to authenticate, sorry, authorize, not authenticate, authorize. I'll speak about the difference between authorization and authentication in some time when we go there, but remember authorize. So it will check the authorization. After that, I'll come to one more filter here. It's a chain of filters, right? It will be passing one filter to one filter, and there might be some other dependency for this. I mean, like there might be some other appropriate work for this. Let's say, even though if it is authorized, I need to verify in my LDAP. I need to check if the employee is a new one or the old one, whether he left the company or not. Maybe my database is not updated, so I may have to check the LDAP. So I can go for that. If not LDAP, I can go for some other kind of information like single sign-on, SSO. So these kind of informations we will be doing using filters. Like filter duty is to get the request first, and after that do whatever the specific functionality which we specified for that filter to work. And what is chain? Chain is simple. Bunch of filters forms a chain, and in the chain always every filter will get the request. And again, based on the configuration, guys, not always, but chain, if they want to continue the chain, they'll be using this next filter, next filter, next filter, something like that. Okay, there is a method called do filter, and they'll use that. So this is a very vague information about filters and chains. For example, delegation filter. If you search for delegation filter in the Google, you will get that. That's a very basic filter in the Spring application, Spring context, which we will get. So any questions, guys?
Harish, what is LDAP? I have listened this many times.
Okay. How can I tell that? LDAP. Say for example, I'll give an example. If you work for an organization, right? Do you think they'll be storing the information in a MySQL database like without any encoding, decoding? They won't do that, right? So they
Yeah.
need a service provider, right? They'll be having some secure location where they'll be using the user information. So for that purpose, they will be using LDAP. So that is called as LDAP.
It is some kind of third-party authorization
We can
service.
that, but even your company may own that database, that information.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is a very vague information. Anyway, we are not going to cover LDAP, but we will be seeing about JWTs if we have time. Right. Any questions, guys? Any questions on any of these? I know it's a little bit messy here, but basically there is a usage of filters. But any questions on that? Cool. No questions? Oh, it's already 2:20. Then we will discuss about the Spring Boot, the way how it has been implemented, the security. We'll speak about that tomorrow, and we'll try to finish it up the Spring security. It's just like there are a bunch of classes which you need to know and bunch of configurations. That's all. There is nothing new in the security. Always, again, whenever we are dealing with frameworks, guys, it always comes with preloaded classes. You're not reinventing the wheel. All you have to do is you have to know how to use that class appropriately. That's all. So before going to let you go, guys, any questions on anything, any concept which we discussed? So did I went too fast today, or is it okay? Like, was it understandable? Because there is nothing about repositories. I explained about repository, what exactly repository. So that's why, and I also gave an explanation about how it is going to form a query. So that's why I thought like maybe we discussed all the information. So I just wanted to show you guys the flow. That's why I went like a little bit quicker. But if you have any doubts, I'll be always there to help you guys.
Yeah, Harish, we didn't went for CRUD operation or pageable repositories, all those
Oh
things.
yeah, pageable. I forgot. Thanks. You remember right now.
Yeah.
I have only 8 minutes. Anyway, I'll be showing you guys that tomorrow. Thanks. I forgot that almost. I talked about page, but because of this time constraint, I forgot. I'll be showing you guys. I promise you, I'll be showing about the pagination and the sorting. But before letting you go, guys, I'll give information about pagination so that it will be easy for you guys to come up with uh, the ideas. So what is pagination? Let's say I have something like a 2000 records. Okay, hello here. My result set is reading me 2000 records, right? And my end user is not able to show. Let's say, for example, my end user is who is consuming the service is a web application. Okay, it's not possible to show 2000 records in the web application. So what I will do, so at a max, based on his requirement, he will tell me how can I show the records. So he will tell, hey, I am showing only for per page. I'm showing only per page. I'll be showing only 10 records, right? And there will be a numbering here like that in the pages, right? Like that, right? So there will be a numbering in the pages. So one number, two number, three number. So what I have to do is there any way I can do that? So that's the question. Yes, of course, Spring JPA will do that. So he will be requesting only certain number of records for the page one. Let's say, for example, 1 to 10, okay, and 20 to 30, sorry, 10 to 20 in the second page, like that. So exactly same information can be done by using JPA. All I have to do is pagination is segregating the data into different pages, into multiple pages. Let's say I have 2000 records, right? 2000 records will be segregated into, let's say, if I'm requesting like 100 pages, right? All those things. So I'll be getting 20 records per page and into 100 pages. That's all. If you want, you can access, let's say I want 99th page. All you have to do is provide the page number like 99. Your GPA will provide the 99th page with all the records present in that page. If you want first page, provide the information. Your page, your JPA will be in a position to get that page and will display it to you. So this is about pagination, guys. Any questions on that?
No, Rish.
Cool. Now, what is sorting? Simply, sorting is same in any language. Like based on your needs, you will be sorting the data. So sorting can be combined with pagination because I may need to display. Let's say, for example, I'm sorting based on a rating. Uh, Again, I'm coming to the flights based on rating, user rating. So at the point of time, I cannot display whatever the flights comes up, right, in the 100 pages. I need to display based on my customer rating. So what I will do, along with pagination, I'll provide sorting. So my Spring JPA is in a position to handle all these things, right? All I have to specify is sort based on what order. That's all, based on what field. So it will take care of that. So in that 100 pages, sorted, it will be in the sorted order. So based on, let's say, for example, for 5-star rating, 5-star will come first, then 4-star, and based on the stars, and it goes on till the 100 pages. That's all. That is a sorting with the pagination and sorting. Right. Any questions, guys?
Where are Rish?
And we will be, I almost forgot, I'll be showing you this in the first half tomorrow. Sure. Any other
Sure.
questions? Any
Thank you.
questions? Cool. Please do practice. And if there is any questions, please feel free to contact me. I'll be helping you guys. I told you guys, please do implement this, the mappings which I specified. And we'll be speaking about that tomorrow if there is anything. Oh, I almost forgot. Crap. Sorry. I guess Akshay asked about the reflection. I thought maybe I'll have 5 minutes in the time. No, it's okay. I'll speak about that tomorrow.
Okay, it's not a problem.
Yeah, I thought like maybe I'll have 5 minutes. My bad. Uh, sure. Any other questions, guys? Cool. If no questions, then we can wrap up this session. And please try to join early, guys. I can't wait 15 minutes every day, please. I'm wasting 15 minutes there. Thanks for understanding. Okay, cool.
Okay, thank you.
We'll meet again tomorrow, guys. Thanks. Bye.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Harish.
Okay.
Yeah. Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Harish.